Hey, hey, hey. We're going to give everybody just a hot second or two. Do, 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 do. Happy Tuesday. It's 10 o'clock. I'm on my phone, if you can't tell, because it's weird. Like, I feel like I'm very close to the camera. I'm not. Well, maybe I am. I don't know. But anywho, I don't see that anyone's hopped on yet, but you know, it's weird. I do have this going on my computer so I can see comments. So by all means, say hi. Hey, Jen. I just gave you the nicknames Jen. Do you go by Jen? Or is it always Jennifer? Anywho, I am in our Align shipping office. Ooh, sounds very fancy, huh? Have y'all, I don't know that we've done a tour here or if we've done a tour here recently, but we're going to real fast. But what is fun, I'm gonna take you a little tour outside too. But first of all, I have my laptop right next to me and it is lagging behind my phone video. So when I look over to the side, it's me 10 seconds ago. And so it's kind of disorienting. So I'm actually going to scroll past that over there so I can just see your comments. Anywho, we are in our, yeah, I mean, the boss is away, but, I'm not getting in trouble. Come on now. That's why I'm in the shipping department today. Hello, Shanae. Because I have to do some shipping for y'all because y'all are rocking it. Anywho, I am gonna see if I can flip around the camera and real fast. Oh, hey, look at that. So hopefully y'all can still hear me. This is our cute, we have this groovy little spot inside this shared, office space, and the person who owns it is a lovely lady, and she's made it super cute. Like, people can rent out the rest of the stuff for like parties if they want, but our stuff is all locked up. But it's just super cute little place. It has a local artist with stuff on the walls where you can buy them if you want. The place is called Yay on Broadway. So if you've ever noticed our shipping labels, it has our address on there, which is on Broadway. And the place is called Yay, which how can you not love that? It's just super cute. Super cute. People can do like birthday parties or showers here. Like, this is a bathroom. I'm not going to show you a toilet because that's weird. And that'll be the thumbnail that decides to stick, right? But just cute. Cute. I do want to know your feeling on the Stark Green, because a local restaurant of ours, of me and Jesse's, they had a fire over this, and I love this wallpaper, right? It gives me very Abundance Box vibes, that like 20s Art Deco, Gilded Era. And anyway, this restaurant, they were closed for like 6 months. I don't know. And everybody thought it was going to be like remodeled and modern when we went in. And I met some friends for dinner there last night. It looks exactly the same. I think that the fire was just contained to the kitchen. So like the dining room, I'm sure was freshened up, but like there's a big canoe that hangs from the ceiling. It's still there. Anyway, I love this pink room. It makes me happy. That giant peacock. Just the cutest little details. Anyway, the walls are all painted this green, which was very in style when it opened, like in the 80s, but now it's not the 80s. So we were debating if hunter green is the way to go or not anymore. Anywho, so this is this cute little place. I'm always afraid it's going to lock me out. It's not going to. We're going to go outside for just a hot second so you can be a part of the fabulous Edmond, Oklahoma action for just a hot second. You know, if you've never been to Oklahoma, it looks pretty much like wherever you live, with the exception of if you live in West Chennai, or in Arizona or New Mexico, maybe. I don't know. But what's really interesting is, like, the state of Oklahoma is only a little bit over 100 years old, and our town, this is original downtown area, so everything is pretty much one level. You can't really see it. We have so much street art, and I can't zoom. Oh yes, I can zoom. Can you see it? Like, we are rated one of the, like, best towns for street murals, which is so bizarre, but, like, they're everywhere downtown. And downtown Oklahoma City is the same way. Oodles of things. Anyway, yeah. It's not that exciting because it's a Tuesday morning and all of the children are in school. So we have, in case you're curious, in my reflection there, ooh, still boot life. You can't see it right there. I can see it better in real life. Anyway, exciting stuff, I know. Exciting stuff. I also had an MRI on Friday. That was fun. So, back in shipping world, Jennifer, it is just a lovely place. Like, yay on Broadway. I mean, you're welcome to come to Oklahoma too. Here is, I can zoom out. You can tell how often I go live on my phone with the camera reversed. Anyway, side note, today's Jesse's wedding anniversary. Fun fact, did y'all know that I was in Jesse's wedding? It's true. It was held at the beautiful Oklahoma State Capitol in the Rotunda. Anywho, which just proves because, so you can rent our state capitol building for free. But you have to do it like 6 months out exactly. And you know, if there's official like state business, then you get bumped. But we didn't. So Jessica got to have her wedding in the state capitol, which was really cool, BT dubs. But if you're ever curious about if Jesse's frugality about not spending unnecessary money is a new thing, no, it's totally not. She had the most gorgeous wedding and probably one of the most affordable weddings. So anyway, happy anniversary to Mr. Shipment, Rob, as I like to say, her Rob, because my man is also a Rob as well. So anyway, here we are in our not giant shipping department, because you know why? It doesn't need to be. Because you've seen our stuff. It's compact, right? I also apologize for the froggy voice and like the no makeup. I am getting over a sinus infection and my eyes are still super watery because we haven't had rain in like 127 days or something here. I mean, we had a thunderstorm for like 4 seconds on Saturday morning, and it was long enough for everyone to think like they were dreaming because it happened at 4 o'clock in the morning. It was like, did you dream a thunderstorm or did it actually rain? No, it did for like 4 seconds. Not enough to actually even make the ground wet. Anyway, so everything is growing weird and blowing around. Such is life in Oklahoma. Anyway, I'm going to flip it back around. Because Rob is hyper organized. Jesse's Rob. And so we've got our stuff. We've got some things that are still waiting to ship out. We are not an unpack it until we need it kind of people. But you know, everything's organized. The black wall behind here. Ooh, this is where Jessie and her girls painted, and I watched them paint when we moved in. It used to all be this red color, which, I mean, is really probably an autumn red. And we know Jessie's autumn red, but I think working in red broom is like rawr, right? So anyway. So, yeah, exciting stuff. Couple of abundance boxes left. Couple backpacks, which y'all ordered when things were 30% off. Good job, good job. So when that's in a weird box, just know that we don't have boxes that fit backpacks regularly. It's fine. You know, I'll tell you my favorite box size, and it's just so random that I'll talk about something real for sure, is this little 4x4 box that just fits body butters and scrubs just so nicely. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to log back into my computer so I can see your comments, because I'm sure you've had so many. Oh, Carrie, I miss you too. So that's a scoop from here. So pipe in the comments. Do you have any questions? I saw Maria hopped on too. Questions about anything? Anything? I mean, I don't know what necessarily I can tell you that is earth shattering today, except that we're going to talk about a little bit of color theory. And we talked a little bit about this at Shine, but I know not everyone was at Shine. So we're going to talk about a little bit of color theory and how it's been around since forever. Hey, Nikki. As soon as I can find my slide deck, because we have a lot of things about color in our world, which is good, right? Right. We have some upcoming calls with our development team and getting all the back end the way we want it to do all the things. So it'll be awesome sauce for y'all. You know, when you start to that's why I don't sing. We leave that to Shanae, right? Side note, if y'all need a new earworm, there is a whole album of They Might Be Giants, and it's called Here Comes the Science. And there's like a paleontologist one and all kinds of delightful things. And one of them is called Roy G. Biv, and it's about the rainbow and the spectrum of light. And it's fabulous, and it's super bouncy, and I highly suggest it. Especially if you have littles. Oh my gosh, we had that CD. That CD is still in my car, if you want to know the truth, because I never listen to a CD anymore, because you can Bluetooth or CarPlay or whatever. Let's be clear, my car is too old to CarPlay. That's why it still has a CD player. But it has that CD in there because everything else I just connect via Bluetooth anymore. Anywho, so there's that. Aristotle, y'all know him, right? T Swift knows him. If you're the Aristotle or the Uniball, yeah, that's so high school, right? Yeah. Anytime I can throw another song reference in, I'm probably going to, or movie. Here we go. Anywho, Aristotle first developed that first known theory of color way back in his days. Which, did I neglect to actually write that down when that was? Yes. But we all know there's only pictures of like statues of him, so we know it's a really long time ago, right? So the first known theory of color was suggesting that all colors come from either white or black, which seems pretty logical, or lightness and darkness, and all of those colors relate back to the 4 elements, which, of course, as we know, air, water, earth, and fire. So, did you necessarily need to know that Aristotle had a color theory part? No. But do I think it's really cool that the very first color theory things are connected to the elements, which are the very first thing that actually inspired a line too? Hello, yes. Like, when the world just aligns sometimes in the universe, tells you what is up, sometimes you just have to listen. So, Aristotle's beliefs on color were widely held for over 2,000 years, until being replaced of the other science homeboy, Sir Isaac Newton. Which, if you don't know Newton, like, we can't be friends. I'm just kidding, of course we can. But I'm pretty sure you've heard of him. I have to go back and forth between Canva, where my stuff is, and to see your questions. You know, Jen, that's a great question about the color analysis. We will see what we can do. I'm not sure if we have the capacity to do another live one this week, but we'll see what we can do to get that in. So we will try, but I can't make a promise, and I hate making promises I can't keep. Yeah. Shanae, who keeps making all the color documents in Canva. It's Shanae. Let's just be honest of how much we love her. And love you too, Shanae. Okay. So back in the 1660s, so then I guess Aristotle was like the 1400s, Newton began a series of experiments with sunlight and prisms. And he demonstrated that clear white light was composed of 7 visible colors. Refer back to our song, Roy G. Biv. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. So I'm sure y'all have seen prisms. Remember it maybe from elementary, middle school science classes a little bit, where prism, clear white glass, or clear and white are not the same, clear glass, but clear glass can also have yellow tint, as we know, with like diamonds and things. So a clear white glass, when that light hits through it in a certain way, how, you know, you've got a prism in your car or hanging up, some people just call them sun catchers, in your house or wherever, how when the light hits it just right, a rainbow shoots out onto the floor or to the window. I will have to find a picture from my mom's house, and it only happens in certain times of the year. When they moved into a condo, I don't know, 10 years ago or so, they have this very 80s chandelier, and it is all like, I say cut crystal, but I don't think it's actually crystal. I think it's just like, it's not crystal, it's just glass. But at certain times of the year, because it has so many little like teardrops, you know, about yay big, the sunlight comes through and it just scatters rainbows all over. It is an amazing thing to behold. I'll just find a picture and post it in the comments later because it's one of my favorite things ever. Anyway, those are all the prisms in effect. We have at certain times of the year, the people on my front door, the light shines through the people and we get one rainbow dot that's like the size of a pea. And it happens for like 3 days every year. And you have to catch it at the right time, of course, because the sun has to hit just right. It makes me irrationally happy. So anyway, again, maybe this is just the universe telling us things, right? And then, so anyway, Newton just did his whole scientific thing, you know, he's got 3 laws of motion, lots of other things. Whole apple hitting him on the head situation. But by scientifically establishing our visible spectrum, which are the colors that we see in the rainbow, Newton laid the path for others to experiment with color in a scientific manner. So, like, while people had theories and whatnot until, do you remember in geometry how you had to do proofs to prove that triangles were congruent? And it was like side, and angle, side, angle, and side, or angle, angle. Angle was not congruent. BT dubs. And how there's no angle side. How everybody in high school wanted there to be an angle side, but there's not. A TikTok popped up the other day disproving that. Anyway, but until you have accepted theories, it's really hard to accepted and proven theories. It's really hard to base, like you can base other hypotheses off other hypotheses. That who knows how far that'll get you, but in order to make a new theory, you have to have other proven facts that you can build upon, right? It's when you're building a house, you're not just going to build the roof without building the foundation, right? You could, but that's bananas. I don't know how well it'd work. So, or how sturdy it would be even if you did that. So same thing for scientific discovery. You have to have those bases and those generally accepted facts before you can move on and prove other things. Is science constantly evolving? Yes, because everyone always reserves the right to get smarter. You know, for the longest time, they didn't believe in germs. And we all know that germs, hello, science infection, are real. But for the longest time, people didn't believe that. For the longest time, we thought that like the things that we could see were with our eye were the smallest things that we could see. And then microscopes came into play, and then we could see cells, and we're like, oh, a cell is the smallest thing. And then we got better microscopes, and we got different kinds of microscopes, and then we can see all the inside piecey parts of cells, and then we can see the inside piecey parts of the inside piecey parts. We all reserve the right to get smarter. Anyway, so with Newton doing all of that, his work led to breakthroughs in optics, physics, chemistry, perception, and overall the study of color in nature. So all of this we have to thank good old Sir Isaac Newton, and Aristotle. We'll give him credit too. And there's lots of other people who have done color theory over time. But those are two of the biggest building blocks, which I just think is really cool, because I feel like color analysis is so like trendy right now that people sometimes don't put a whole lot of stock into it. They think that it's something trendy that everybody's doing and it's just the newest bandwagon. But in reality, they've been studying colors for centuries, like centuries. They've been studying color longer than they've been studying computers. They've been studying color longer than they've been studying medicine, Western medicine. So like when we're thinking of all of those things, like color theory is not new. It is not just today's latest trend. It is not today's latest fad. It is something that has been around for a long, long time. And some really smart dudes were talking about it way back. And it's just, you know, having a resurgence now. And if you talk to some, you know, people of generations past, they remember this coming around. And, you know, are things cyclical in the world? Yes. Refer back to the hunter green discussion I was talking about with wall colors. That's becoming a thing again. Hopefully not paired with peach, but, or not, if that's what your jam is, go for it. But like, it's just so interesting how those things cycle around, and sometimes we forget that they've been around multiple times before, or never really left. It's just they kind of oscillate back up to the stream of consciousness. So anywho, like we talked about with color theory, color and light is a little bit different. So when all those colors in the light are mixed together, it's that white light. That's why when it goes through a prism, it can be split out into the rainbow. So, hey Donna, Jen, we are, if you prefer Jennifer, tell me, otherwise I'm going to keep calling you Jen. But October 1st is our new goal date. Hopefully I'm allowed to tell you that, because of the technical stuff on the backside. There's a lot, there's a few things that we need to finish up on our like corporate align side, but some of the technical pieces to get it to the way that we want it for ease of you to really, so your customers can buy it easily. And so we can get all of those things in there, is going to take them a little bit more time. So that's our goal on that. All right. So color theory with light, like I said, white, and then it splits out to Roy G. Biv. The primaries there are red, green, and blue, violet. And then, so like in light, what's weird is if you mix green and red together, you get yellow. Blow your mind, huh? Green plus blue violet equals turquoise, and red plus blue violet equals magenta. Which is Bananosaurus Rex, right? Like, hard to think that, but that's in light. But in vision, where they say the 5 principal colors are red, yellow, green, blue, and purple. And then the 5 intermediate colors are those when you mix them together. And then 10 secondary colors, which are those intermediate colors mixed with the things right next to them. So that makes what's called a Munsell color wheel. And this gives you more of like a spectrum. So if you think of, you know, your box of 8 Crayola crayons, how you've just got those red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, black, and brown, right? And so, but when you get the 64 box, how you've got red, red, orange, orange, red. And you're like, what's the difference? Well, if you were laying them all out on like a Munsell color wheel, you'd have red, red, orange, orange, and then orange, red. And then all along the way. So it's, you'd actually have a yellow orange, but whatever. Because it's a 64, but you get what I'm saying. But it makes it so it gradually kind of mixes those together as it goes around. So, definitely more, if it was a linear thing versus a color wheel, it would definitely be like those rainbow ombres that you see, where you get multiple shades of red, multiple shades of orange, multiple shades of yellow, etc. When we look at color and pigment, which is what we normally think about, because that's what we generally teach, like in an art class, that's what we teach with our kiddos. That Ziploc commercial from a way long time ago, blue plus yellow makes green, when it was a Ziploc, so you know it was all the way sealed. So those primaries are red, yellow, and blue. When you mix all of the colors together, you get a black or a very dark brown. And then of course you get the intermediary colors when you mix them around too. So if you're painting, or using markers or anything, this is really what, we're thinking about. And then of course, print color, excuse me, sinus infection rears its ugly head. Color and printing. So if you have a color printer at home and you have one of, the ones that splits out your printer cartridge heads, so you have a black one, and then you have magenta, cyan, and yellow, right? And a lot of people will argue that those are the true primaries in the world, because if you are, do we have any homeschoolers, I wonder? I'm so curious how y'all teach color, if you do color mixing and stuff, because I have some educator friends who were very bummed. They were trying to teach their kiddos about color mixing and how you get other colors and primary and secondary colors. And they were using maybe some off-brand watercolors, but when they were mixing blue and yellow, they were never getting a good green. It was always a very muddy green. And those blues in lesser quality watercolors, for example, like to get a blue, it's, you know, it's got some brown in there. It's got a lot of gray. It's got some black, which is light gray. So all of those things. And so it's really hard. So a lot of people were like, well, try mixing, like if you have a turquoise paint, which is more of a cyan, with your yellow, you'll get a better green. So do y'all ever watch those color mixing videos, reels, either on TikTok or just Insta Reels or Facebook Reels? They're fascinating. And yeah, they're just really cool. I really like the calligraphy ones where they have the different ink and it just blends into each other. But, or those paint mixing videos, that was really big in 2020 when everybody was guessing what color paint would be because everybody was repainting their house because what else were you doing? And where they would, you know, it's a white base or a clear base or a dark base. And like you'd see all this yellow going, like oodles and gobs of yellow. And then like a little bit of blue and a little bit of red. And then like a couple drops of black. And you're like, how did that get to beige? Like, it's just weird how those colors mix together. And it's all about, so often we don't use, when we buy paints, for example, paints, I just think are the easiest to mix. When you buy paints, for example, like those are what your brain thinks of traditional colors, but to get that color, they have to mix a lot of other colors together to get that color. So like a yellow, depending on what kind of yellow it is, it may run more green yellow and it may run more orangey yellow. So, you know, you can fiddle with them. If you ever like want some pre-work to do for fun, get some watercolors. I suggest Prang. They're not that much more expensive than Crayola. And if any of your teacher friends have ever said to like, don't you dare ever buy Rose Art, right there, don't ever buy Rose Art. Especially crayons, but not on watercolors. Prang are my favorite. for like an inexpensive brand. And just play around with how those colors mix together. Cause it's kind of fun. And it's interesting to see, how that all works out. So like if you have a green, for example, if you were at Shine, Shanae had a green jacket on, I believe, one day, and I had green pants on. And if you looked at us like across the room from each other, you would probably say that they were the same color green. It was a very bright, grassy, like my laptop color green. But when you really looked at it, mine was a very much more like, was a green with a lot of blue in it, and Shanae's was green with a lot of yellow in it. But they both look like Kelly green, or if you're Gen Xer, Benetton green. Remember Benetton? It's actually still around. But that tag color. Anyway, so you can kind of play, like if you have a good quality green and then you add some blue to it to cool it down, look to see what that color is, and then add some yellow to it and see what happens when you warm it up a little bit. Because I feel like sometimes in our brain, we think of warm colors being darker. And Jesse's talked about this. If you follow Jesse's personal profile, she had like autumn colored things, but they were very bright. So, but they were still like in that autumn color family vibe. So they're not as clear as like a wintry green perhaps, or a wintry hot pink or whatever. But it's just interesting. So if you have a minute and you want to like just play so your eyes can start to see the difference of what happens when you cool down a color or warm up a color, you can do that. So I would start with green, add blue, add yellow. Do it to your secondary. Have orange. Well, with orange, that's, if you add yellow or red, you're going to warm it up, right? If you do purple, you're going to add blue to cool it down, or you'll add red to warm it up. Even with an orange, though, you can add a little bit of blue to cool it down, and see where it gets you. I dare you. Go ahead. It'll be interesting. And then try doing various amounts of blue. There's one, and I have no idea who it is, but there's one of the color mixing people where they'll start with two colors, like blue and orange, and they'll do like 90% orange, 10% blue, and then 75% orange, 25% blue, and then 50-50, and then the ratios keep flipping as you go down, just so you can see what those different ratios look like. So that's always a fun thing too. So, yeah, you can play with that. I'm so sorry, y'all. That's not attractive to hear. How we see color, as the light hits an object, the colors are either reflected or absorbed. When we see white, all of the wavelengths of light are reflected. When we see black, all of the wavelengths are absorbed. So when we look at the black wall here, all of the wavelengths of light with your abundance boxes, are absorbed. So it's not reflecting back anything. All of those wavelengths are being absorbed. When we see white, all of them are being reflected. So when you see blue, everything's being absorbed and blue is being reflected. So there's that. Pardon me while I get drink. And side note, McDonald's Cokes are the best Cokes. I have to go do other stuff later. I just realized what my shirt said. Yes, it does say, I'm unable to quit, because I am currently too legit. Anywho, it's been a half an hour because I have a tendency to ramble, and I appreciate that. But I'm just going to go over a couple more things. Hop up if you need to. Don't feel like you have to stay on. Just some vocabulary. Color is the visual attribute of what we see after the light is reflected. So like I said, when you see blue, it's because blue wavelengths are being reflected. Hue is the attribute of colors that permits them to be classed as, red, yellow, blue, or anywhere in between. So there's a game, contentious, in my house that is called Hues and Clues, and my family cheats. But it is actually a fun game. If you like color and you like describing colors, it's a board game. So anywho, there's that. A palette is just the arrangement of colors, so like a color wheel or like the ombre. Chromatic has some hue, so it has some color. Achromatic is without hue, so black, gray, or white. And monochromatic is degrees of one hue, so all the various shades of red in the world, all the various shades of green. That would be monochromatic. I feel like y'all probably know that because monochromatic dressing was totally a style. For a while, when people dress in all denim, it's monochromatic. Because they're all various hues of that same thing. I almost said shade, but that's, could be right, could be wrong. A tint is white added to a color. So if you don't want to play with watercolors and you want to play with acrylics, you can get a relatively inexpensive starter set on Amazon or at Michael's or your local crafting place. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, home of the Hobby Lobby. So it's kind of hard to find anything else here besides Hobby Lobby. Like it's a 25-minute drive to get to a Michael's. And then if I want to get to a different Michael's, it's another 25-minute drive. But yeah, I guess there's only 2 Hobby Lobbies in my town, but my town is 110,000 people. So, and then there's a Hobby Lobby and a Michael's like across the main street. So if I'm driving that 25 minutes to Michael's, that's the 3rd Hobby Lobby that I would go to. Anyway, so a tint, if you wanted to play with some acrylics, which are fun, a tint is white added to a color. So, this doesn't always work, but if you take red and you add white, you're going to get pink, right? Ish. A tone is gray added to a color. So if you add gray to red, you might actually get a color that's this maroony color. This is heathered, so you can't really see that on the screen. But, yes. So a tone is gray added. And then, a shade is black added to a color. So, if you add the color of her door, which is red, and the color of her walls, which is black, you're going to get a really deep, dark, super maroony color. And that is a shade. So yeah, that is fun to play with. And you can do that with all of the colors. Add white, add gray, add black, and then add them in various amounts. So a little bit of white versus a lot of bit of white. Same with gray, same with black. And then of course there's so many shades of gray. One might say there's 50. There's more. And then, so the other thing is undertone versus overtone. And so when Jessie did that walking through of Crystal's color analysis the other day, when we're really trying to figure out if she is warm undertoned or cool undertoned and how it was tricky, but we figured it out through the steps. That's your undertone, whether you are more blue-based or more yellow-based. Overtone is the color that you can see, but you're always going to have the same undertone. So for example, like when, if I'm out in the sun a lot, I tan really easily. So I can be a lot, like I need to use darker cosmetics, a shade or two. Who knows if that's the correct version on that, how they made it. But a color or two darker in the summertime than I do in the wintertime, because in the wintertime I'm pretty fair. But, so my overtone changes throughout the course of the year, but my undertone will always stay the same. Always will stay the same. And think about red lipstick. Like, there are some red lipsticks that look fabulous on people, and then if you use the same red lipstick, how you're like, oh my gosh, my teeth suddenly look like I've just been chewing on saffron for fun. They're like so yellow, right? And that's because of the different, like your undertones are different than the other person's undertones. And so that it's just not complimentary. Sorry. To your skin. So, when people are sending pictures in, if they send a wintertime picture and a summertime picture, sometimes that will help you determine even though, their undertone, because sometimes it's more obvious if they're more tan or not. It just depends on the person. But just how different lighting. I know Jesse showed different variations of lighting. Like this lighting for me is horrible. Not that I feel amazing today, but this lighting is not great. But it's fluorescent, so what are you going to do? Yeah, anyway, it really makes the old gray pop out, which is fine. And then the other thing just to think about, and just into a real quick, because I want to get you guys out of here as I go through my presentation. And I know we've talked about this, but like, really, why do we care? Align really wants everyone to feel the best in their own skin, and whatever that means for each individual person. And so for some, that could be, reducing the appearance of fine lines. For some, that is keeping your redness at bay. For some, that is just having natural glowing skin. For some, it brings out your eyes. Whatever that may be. It's all valid and we love it. So with color analysis and really driving people towards their correct colors, which, to be clear, this is not one of mine. This shirt was clean. Let's be real, it was clean. And I like saying because it's funny. When you're in your best colors, you inherently, whether it's conscious or not, you just feel more confident. And confidence is really what all of those other things that I just mentioned to lead to. Just makes you feel a little more confident. And generally, when you're feeling more confident, you're feeling happier, and satisfied in your own skin. And that just leads to all kinds of good things. I've never figured out the word for it. And if somebody knows, holla. But there's a vicious cycle where you have one thing and it's just a bad decision and it just snowballs and gets out of control. I don't know what the opposite of that is. When you have a good decision or a good thing happens, and that just turns into another good thing, and it turns into another good thing, and so on and so forth. The happiness circle, I'm not sure what cycle, I'm not sure what it is, but, that's really all we can hope for people, is to keep going down that. Also, when you are feeling confident, generally, you're more approachable, you feel better, you can do all the things. And in reality, I think we were talking about this on, in a leader chat, maybe somewhere, about someone was saying, and maybe it was Donna, I could be wrong, how she was talking to one of her friends who owns a clothing boutique, and how this person kind of hated when people came in with their color cards because they were so locked in that it felt like that person it felt like the shopkeeper was almost powerless, because if she didn't have anything that fit exactly into those color palettes, then she was going to lose the sale. That's not how Donna phrased it. And if it wasn't Donna, I apologize for getting credit for the wrong person. But in reality, those color cards, first of all, the way that we do it is that it should harmonize with those colors. There's too many colors in the world for us to make a list of all of the colors that it would be possible, right? Like, Even in the 64 box of crayons, they even came out with a 128, and that's not even all the colors, right? When you go to Sherwin-Williams, that's not all the colors in the world. But because you can still add gray to any of those. You can add white to any of those. Like, you can make all of the various hues that you want. So it's what harmonizes together. And I think that's what Bart will set us apart. There's a frog in my throat. Remember that commercial? Anywho. And it will make it clears away the clutter, and it makes it easier for people to make decisions. So, it should help people make decisions easier. So if they're deciding between two colors, okay, well, this one's in your season and this one's not. Boom, you know which one to get. It should make it easier. And that's where we want to empower our customers and your customers to know, and then to feel empowered to make decisions that are in that same palette. So anyway, that is it for me, especially since I feel a cough coming. Anyway, so that's it. If you guys have any questions, please pop them in the comments. I'm going to keep monitoring. I have to go sort 20 boxes of spirit wear. I know. It's not for a line. It's for my kids' high school. But I have a helper. So that'll be good. Anyway, if you guys have any questions, about how to raise money for your school's PTO or PTA through Spiritwear, you just let me know. Also, if any of your children's schools use Boosterthon, aka rebranded to Booster, and they would like to know ways how to DIY that and keep more of money, by all means, let me know. That is my other random subject matter expertise, is how to get school, nonprofit, parent-led organizations to raise more money and keep more money. So, yeah, random, huh? Sorry, welcome to my brain. Also, if you'd like to know the history of some random cat breeds, I can also do that. I surprised one of my friends who I've known for literally decades the other day. I was like, oh yes, the Scottish Fold. The original one was in the 60s in Scotland, named Susie. Anyway, there's a cat fun fact for you today. That's it. Anywho, that is it, y'all. If you have any questions, pop them in the comments. I may not get back to them right immediately, but I definitely will today later. Alrighty, Roo. Yeah, that's it, y'all. Thank you so much for being here. I just want to say one more time, y'all rocked it out with a 30% off sale. I'm so proud of all of you. You should be proud of yourselves. Even if you didn't make as many sales as you had wanted, we're very pleased. We're ecstatically pleased with how much y'all jumped on that. And we're able to get a line into people's hands because I don't want it in here. I want it on your people. So by all means, great job. I see lots of you posting. I see lots of you sharing. Keep it up. Keep it up. Y'all are doing amazing, and we appreciate you so very much. All right. If you have any questions, pop them in the comments, and we'll talk soon. Love y'all. Bye.